Welcome to Election Speakout. My name is Mike Goss and I'm interviewing Mayor Jim Kight. Jim, in the last 4 years that you've been mayor of Troutdale, has there been a theme to your administration?
Yes, Mike, I believe there has been. I made a promise to the voters that when I took office as mayor to represent our city, that I would give 100% of myself in completing projects, creating job centers, taking care of safety issues within the city. And I think to some degree we fulfilled those promises to our community.
Good. Jim, during your 4 years as mayor, what do you think are some of the biggest local accomplishments? Maybe we should start with Exit 17.
Well, as you know, Mike, because you and I both use that exit as well as Exit 18, the problem was you had stacking out on the freeway. In other words, cars lining up on the freeway and actually stopped during peak times. They couldn't get off the freeway because there was only one exit lane. As a result of that, we have now created 2 exit lanes and then a 3rd lane as you get closer to the intersection right there by Marine Drive. $3.7 million worth of improvements over 2 different phases have made major improvements, widening in north and south frontage road. And also, we have 1 lane that gets onto the freeway. We have 2 lanes that are directed to 257. We have made major improvements allowing traffic to flow through there.
Jim, why does that matter?
It matters because it's a safety issue. And also, people are commuting. Time is really a critical commodity, especially in this society. And people don't want to wait or be jockeying around semi-trucks.
What about all of the construction going on over the Sandy River, Jim?
Well, we have one of the largest bridge reconstruction projects in the entire state of Oregon. They have just completed and opened the I-84 bridge. It is 2.5 times wider than the old bridge. And in addition to that, we have a photograph showing a young man crossing a bike pedestrian bridge that's immediately adjacent to the traffic lane for the I-84 bridge. This will be connected now to a trail system, allowing people to go across the bridge without walking across this tiny little ledge as cars and trucks are driving by at 75 miles an hour.
When this is concluded, what does it mean for Troutdale and what does it mean for people traveling on Interstate 84?
Well, it goes back to the safety issue, Mike, and that's critical with the traveling public. And the other thing is, if there's a major earthquake event, these bridges are built to withstand that. So in other words, commerce, freight traffic, and passenger cars hopefully will be able to cross those bridges should we have a natural event.
Okay. Backing up for just a moment, the things that are going on with the transportation improvements at Exit 17, with the bridge, and with another structure we're going to talk about, it seems like you get these things done if you know the right people. And you've been described as Troutdale's Energizer Bunny. Would you care to address that?
Well, I think the key is we have to keep in mind we're lobbying with not only other communities within the state of Oregon. By the way, there's 242 other cities that are incorporated in the state of Oregon. So I'm competing against those other mayors in those communities, vying for money to come into their community to make their transportation improvements. But also we're competing on a nationwide basis in order to create job centers within our communities.
Let's talk about one of the most recent events. I heard you speak. It was on September 7th. Tell us about that.
Oh, that's a proud moment, Mike, and I'm glad you brought that up. We opened the new police community center in Troutdale. Formerly, our police, now they've transitioned out of the old building, they were housed in a 4,000 square foot cinder block building, which would have, if going back to my earlier comment, that building would have collapsed. There's no doubt about it. But now those 34 employees are in a state-of-the-art building. It's not only just a police station, but it's a community center where everybody can come together and have conversations and training classes for the police. And frankly, the other police departments are just a little bit envious. So I don't think we're going to have a problem attracting new officers into our community. We have, I believe, one of the best police departments in the entire state of Oregon.
We have an amazing chief of police leading an amazing group of people. It's really something. Let's talk for a minute about problems that you see coming up. As mayor in the next 4 years, there's some things that need to be dealt with. What about the traffic on Southeast 257? How did that happen?
Well, as you well know, since we made all those improvements on that Troutdale interchange at exit 17, the traveling public has found out, as well as the freight traffic, the truck drivers. So now there's a direct route, 4-lane, from exit 17 all the way to Highway 26. There's a direct shot. The problem is on 257th, you have housing on both sides of 257th, and you have the largest high school in the state of Oregon, Reynolds High School, Walt Morey Middle School. You have children crossing 257th. There is no safety net islands for those children and other pedestrians to get across 257th.
How do we fix that?
We fix that by having at least, at the very minimum, 4 area safety zones so they can cross. And you've seen that. You've seen the flashing lights and that little safety island so pedestrians can get across 257. The next phase would be to slow down or do the traffic calming, and that would be to create a landscaping strip in the middle, a medium strip.
Okay. Once upon a time, there was a building called City Hall. The building had lots of people. It's a ghost town. How did that happen?
Well, that 89-year-old building built in 1923 for $3,700, if you can believe that, is at the end of its life. The foundation is shifting. We've had somebody look at it and do a report. It would cost $3.4 million to replace it, $2.4 million if we were to scrape it and build a brand new building. So we have to look for a new location, new site in order to build a new building.
Would you describe what it's like right now if you're trying to seek city services from City Hall?
Well, right now we're divided in 2 locations in downtown, and there's very little parking. So that's one of our major complaints. So we see that as a temporary measure.
Okay. What about downtown development? Are we good? Are we in trouble? Where do we go?
We started with our Troutdale's Open for Business plan, and it has been, frankly, wildly successful. All the empty storefronts on Main Street at grade level are all filled. And I see that as a great success, and not only just in downtown, but throughout Troutdale as well. So, in fact, I was just talking to a store owner today that owns gelati, and they said one of the reasons they opened up their storefront was because our Troutdale's Open for Business plan. Basically, it was a holiday on building permits and SDC, System Development Charges. No charge. They got the service for free, and they were able to open their storefront because when you're a small business owner, you need the capital up front in order to open the doors.
Understood. Jim, in conclusion, the voters have to decide on November 6th if you should be the mayor for another 4 years. Why should that happen?
Well, I think on several fronts. Number one, if there's a meeting, I'm there. I'm always there to represent the city of Troutdale. And not only Troutdale, I might add, but also the region. Because in some cases it doesn't fit, the development doesn't happen to fit in Troutdale, but then the other communities can benefit as well, and I'm that representative.
Okay. I saw you at a wedding reception. I saw you schmoozing the crowd. I nudged my wife and I said, watch this. And I watched you find new opportunities among people in the crowd. How do you do it?
Well, maybe that's a talent that I have, but I'm always looking for opportunities to connect with people that can help our community, bring dollars into our community, whether it's transportation, whether it's looking for a new location for City Hall. One of the things I did in the downtown at our Merino block, which is between Harlow and Dora, is we have a burned out building. And I brought a developer down there on a Friday, and on Monday he purchased that property. Now, if there's a fail sale in that property, there's 2 other backup offers as well.
Excellent.
Yes.
So a lot of the things that have been accomplished in the last 4 years, and a lot of things that you'll do in the next 4 years come from your ability to schmooze. Would you agree with that?
Well, I think it's key. Number one, you have to have the experience. Number 2, you have to network with not only federal, state, county, government officials, because more than likely they're the ones that have the money, but also the private developers as well. And I think that's really key, because if you don't have those connections, those developments are not going to take place. What I'm looking for is to create a job center in Troutdale so people don't have to drive outside of Troutdale to look for a job. 66% of the people right now in the East County area go to another location to get a job, to go to a work center. I would rather have that happen right here within our own city.
And that's something you'll be working on for the next 4 years.
Yes, in fact, I'm working on it on a daily basis.
Okay, good. I've seen you do it. I've never seen you standing by yourself talking to no one. You're always schmoozing with someone. For the next 4 years, Troutdale would be well served to be led by a schmoozer. This is a good thing. On November 6th, the voters will decide if Jim Kight should be mayor for another 4 years. Troutdale needs a schmoozer as mayor, and we don't have a better schmoozer than Jim Kight. So when you decide on the 6th of November, vote for Jim Kight.
Thank you, Mike.